Hi, thank you very much for coming, Miss Kamaka. It's nice to meet you in person and not just through email or the phone. Let me look at my notes. So today we're having a meeting about, we're going to review the weekly progress reports that we've been keeping, that have been keeping track of Makanale's progress over the last quarter. I'm going to share with you some of the strategies that worked with Makanale and some things that didn't work. So I found that the pair share, she's very shy, so she didn't really appreciate having to share her ideas on a topic. But she did enjoy writing down really short little reflections of what she liked about class or what she learned. She also really enjoyed the stations. So on one day while we were learning about sensory details, I created 4 stations for 4 different senses. And she liked moving from space to space during the class rather than being, confined in her chair. So that was lovely. She also really likes earning points for our hero program. So our school has a hero program, and we give positive behavior points during class. And then at the end of the day, at the end of the week, whenever they accumulate so many points, they can cash them in and get something as small as an after-school slushie or as big as movie tickets to the movies. So she really likes to get those hero points, and I saw a big difference in her behavior over the last few weeks. Also, I do like that she's on our team because we are the inclusion team at right now, and even though Makanale is not identified at this time as having any sort of learning disability, she does benefit from having the 2 teachers in the classroom. So I'd like to make sure that when she moves on into the 8th grade, that she would continue to be in a class with more than one adult so that we can continue to address some of her needs. Let's see. As for her strengths, she very much enjoys talking about raising her chickens, which is pretty cool because I don't know too much about chickens. So I've enjoyed listening to her tell me about the different types and about how to raise them. And even your guys' backyard setup is pretty cool. We looked it up on Google Maps one day, and she got to show me the layout, and that was pretty great. Her attendance has been excellent. She's very polite. She does enjoy positive affirmations throughout the day, just good job. And it could be as small as good job, or it could be very specific, where I say to her, your claim is very specific. And she does like that positive affirmation. It continues to keep her motivated. And anytime she talks anime, I'm not too familiar with the cartoons, but there are other students in the class who are familiar with the anime, and it does a lot. I have to learn more about it just so I can add it to my lessons. As for your concerns, it seems that her reading level was your biggest concern, and you are correct. Makanale being in 7th grade and having a 3rd grade reading level, and I look back at her elementary school reading levels, and it looks like in 6th and 5th grade she was also at 3rd grade, so she hasn't really made too much progress when it comes to raising her reading level. And it might have to do with the testing environment. It might not be just reading, it might be the test, you know what I mean? It might be just that she has a test anxiety and she hasn't done better, but she's taking the same star reading test year after year and she hasn't shown any progress. So I do want to focus on that with her this year. Also, with her writing assignments, so I know you said you were very concerned about her always turning in her assignments late, and I'm not really concerned too much by the lateness of the work because I don't penalize late work in 7th grade. I feel like it's the first time that they're earning grades, and to penalize them for doing their best is just not my strategy, I guess I could say. But I see that you want her to be more punctual with the assignments, and you mentioned specifically that she has writer's block when it comes to starting writing. And in 7th grade, we are a very writing intensive. We have a very writing intensive curriculum. We write 2 essays every quarter, non-stop writing. So I definitely feel like we have to figure out a way to get Makanale to write more and to start on time and to finish on time. Okay, so we'll definitely work on that. I did find success with using more, stories that are very place-based. So the other kids were learning about Greek mythology, and she was not very interested in the Greeks. She was more interested in myths from our own home. So I did find a few myths. I found the Shark Man myth. I found myths of the white dog, and these are all very popular in Waianae. I found myths about the Waianae Valley, and she really enjoyed the Puhinalo, the Eel Man. You know, she really enjoyed those place-based local mythology. So rather than keeping her on the track to write a Greek myth, to read and write a Greek myth, we moved her curriculum towards reading and writing a more local, you know, mo'olelo, local story. So I think she's getting more interested in writing just because she's more interested in the content. Also, after our myth writing, we began to argue different topics. So we moved genres. We moved from the creative writing genre into the argumentative writing genre. And again, that transition was very difficult from creative writing into research-based writing. But I've been using local topics. So we've discussed COVID, you know, in Hawaii. And we've also discussed the gambling. You know how gambling is right now on the news because the governor is looking at legalizing gambling in Hawaii. And that seemed to be something that she was really interested in, especially because of the chicken fight. So that was pretty cool that she knew a little bit about gambling in Hawaii. And I told her, don't mention any names, Makanale, but it seemed to spark her interest, and she does have a clear idea on whether or not she is for or against gambling in Hawaii. So I have no doubt that she'll be able to start that essay. I did share with you 2 resources that we have here, and one of them is called iReady. She took the beginning test, what do you call the test? The test at the beginning to show your level. And after she took that test, I was able to assign her lessons that I think will specifically help her boost her reading level. Because in 7th grade, unless she were to move into a more confined classroom, like a fully self-contained classroom, I personally, as the English teacher, do not teach reading strategies anymore. You know, and it's just the curriculum that we have now does not allow for reading strategies. They're all writing. So but during our 5th period intervention class, that's when I'm allowed to work on the skills that I think she needs when it comes to reading and boosting up that level. That's what I work on with her during 5th period, is those iReady lessons, and specifically on using context clues. I think she could do so much better. So, I mean, in elementary, they did a lot of sight words, and we don't do that at all here. Not at all in the 7th grade. We're not a sight words community. I'm not sure if it's we think it's kind of late for that or what. I don't have any strategies for sight words, but I do have a lot of strategies for looking at context clues, and I think that would really help Makanale to boost her reading level. So I'm going to continue to send her those lessons and work with her on one-on-one, possibly reading through anime books, possibly reading to through books about chickens, just to get her interested and to show her how context clues surrounding really difficult words can help you figure out what the author's message is. So those are 2 goals that we have for the remainder of the year. 1, looking at context clues in difficult readings, and 2, writing. So you know, when you mentioned that she turns in a lot of assignments late, it has to, I think it's because is not really, she doesn't transition well. So I think I have to do a better job of maybe like getting to know her background knowledge, making connections between her life and the topic, like how we did with the myths and how we were able to do with the argumentative, just starting first with what does she know? What does she want to know? How does it connect to her life? We already chunked the assignments, so I'll never give her a blank piece of paper and tell her to write an essay, but I will ask her to do a piece at a time. And I've gotten really good at color coding different portions of the essay, color coding different portions of the paragraph, shortening my instructions so that she doesn't struggle with reading the instructions if she wants to work independently. Graphic organizers are definitely, I never give a student a blank piece of paper, so I'm going to continue to do that, as well as giving her a separate vocabulary list, with easy to define, or with easy definitions next to the harder words that are involved in the essay, like claim. What is a claim? That's a tough word. Okay, so I give her a list of words for her to look at and say, oh yeah, that's right, I need to write a claim. And here's the definition. It's topic plus opinion plus 2 reasons. That's something that she can understand. So I thank you again for always emailing and always keeping in touch. And I do enjoy receiving any kind of information you can give me through Jupiter. And I, with your permission, would like to go ahead with the referral for special education. So we have, like I said, especially during teacher tutorial, I have had a lot of time to work with Makanale one-on-one, and that seems to be the only way we make progress through our difficult assignments. So when it's a larger class setting, or even in a small group, she just was unable to really talk through the assignment, or even talk herself into a question about the assignment until we're one-on-one. So I think, after all that correspondence and after all of our phone calls, and I think you might be right, we've gone through a lot of different targeted instruction strategies, and I think with your permission, if you would like to have her tested for a special education, then we can go ahead and get that done, especially so that next year she will continue to be in a classroom with 2 teachers who can support her. All right, well, thank you very much. Bye.